Welcome to the Bariatric program at Community and Monmouth Medical Centers of Robert Wood Johnson. This is the introduction and overview of the Nutrition Guidebook that you have received. This book will have all of the information you need to guide you through the before, during, and after of the bariatric process. I will walk you through the book's contents, but mainly focus on the first couple of pages, which discuss specific eating habits that will make your bariatric experience more successful and effective, while also as least painful and uncomfortable. This book can be divided into a few sections. The first half is everything to do with pre-surgery nutrition preparation, things you need to buy, habits you need to adopt, things like that. The second half is post-surgery diet progressions, basically all those weeks that guide you from liquids back into solids. And then finally, the last few pages are frequently asked questions about the surgery and a page on exercise. So what I'm going to do today is discuss the changes that will need to be made to how you eat, what you eat, and then I'll further explain why these habits are so important. Pages 4 and 5 in the Nutrition Guidebook are what I refer to as home base. This is because they summarize all of the habits that need to be adopted in order to succeed with bariatric surgery. You will have the upcoming preoperative months to start changing certain eating habits. The earlier you start practicing these behaviors, the easier the transition will be after surgery. So, first habit is timing. The timing of how you eat will be extremely important. The central theme for eating and drinking after bariatric surgery is going to be small and frequent. Start working on not skipping meals, particularly if you are a 1 meal a day kind of person. Do not wait too long to eat because then you get so hungry that it becomes impossible to control how much and how fast you end up eating. This will also help you stop eating when you're full rather than stuffed and uncomfortable. Also, if you are so extremely hungry, it becomes virtually impossible to resist junk food or sweets. Next, how you eat. The how of eating essentially involves slowing down your meals. This means a meal should last around 20-30 minutes. Most people probably admit to inhaling their food and eating too quickly. So, chewing thoroughly is instrumental in the slowing down process. No matter what you are eating, you can already start practicing chewing 20 times or until the food is applesauce consistency. Now, before surgery, a couple of chews and swallowing big chunks of food doesn't really faze you. But after surgery, this will become a source of intense abdominal pain, uncomfortable chest tightness, a choking feeling, nausea, and of course, vomiting. The ultimate goal will be to make a small amount of food last longer, again by slowing down the speed of your eating. This will feel a little bit unusual in the beginning and will take many attempts at doing consistently. Think of creating new habits as 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of process. Always be moving forward despite the steps back that are inevitably going to happen. Behaviors around drinking. After surgery, the official rule will be to not eat or drink anything 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after a meal, and definitely at no point during a meal. This is another habit which may not faze you right now, but will cause a lot of pain and discomfort after surgery. If you typically drink while you eat, the first habit to break will be mindless sips during the meal. A good first step is to decrease the frequency of sips by placing your drink out of reach. Another idea to consider is that you may not actually be thirsty during a meal, but are drinking because of a dry mouth or the need to clear your palate. The strategy here would be to take a tiny sip instead of a gulp and see if that is enough. Another reason for drinking during a meal is to wash the food down, which is often needed if somebody takes a huge bite or doesn't chew well. So it is all connected. If you take small bites and chew thoroughly, you likely won't have the need to chase your meals with water. And finally, drinking carbonated drinks and using straws will not be allowed in the beginning because it traps air into the stomach and again causes a lot of pain in the stomach and the chest. Small sips will be the way to drink at all times, and big gulps will add air into the stomach, which again will not be very pleasant. Hydration will be incredibly important after surgery, especially during the first month, because that is when the risk of dehydration is the highest and is the top reason for being rehospitalized after surgery, which we definitely do not want. However, you will not be able to take big gulps, let alone chug. So the fluid goal after surgery is still those 8 cups of water or 64 ounces. And the only way to meet those needs will be to increase the frequency of sips, and because they will be small. So you want to start practicing taking small sips often, even maybe every 10 minutes. As with all new habits, the earlier you start practicing this before your actual surgery happens, the easier it will be to transition to doing this after surgery. Water flavorings like flavor powders, flavor droplets are allowed and encouraged. 2 types of beverages you will have to temporarily pause for a few months after surgery are alcohol and caffeine. So this is coffee, Cokes, and energy drinks. The reason for this is that they will interfere with the healing of the stomach, and slower healing opens you up to more complications. The good news is decaf tea and coffee are allowed. There is certain types of supplementation that is necessary after surgery. This is protein and vitamins. Now, I'm sure you've already heard at this point that protein is an important nutrient to consume after surgery. Your goal will be to consume about 60 to 80 grams of protein a day. Ideally, you will get this from food. Protein shakes will play a temporary role in the bariatric process and will be your source of protein the first few weeks after surgery when you are on a liquid diet. However, do not start drinking these shakes on a regular basis before surgery. Next, we have vitamins. Now, daily vitamins will be needed for the rest of your life pretty much because nutrients are just not as well absorbed after surgery. For the first month, the vitamins you'll have to take will be chewable and will include a multivitamin and a calcium. The dietitian will provide you samples and discuss more details about what you need in future nutrition appointments. Nutritional changes to the diet. Healthy eating. Changes to what you need to eat is likely information that you have heard before. However, it tends to be much easier said than done. That is why it'll be important for you to identify your problematic eating habits as soon as possible and start making changes to them right away. Examples of some of these habits may be large portions, constant grazing, not drinking enough water, or eating too much junk food, sweets, and processed carbohydrates. The changes you'll have to make mainly involve removing the junk food, fast food, and soda, while also eating more fruits and vegetables, incorporating protein with each meal, and lessening your portions. The food log assigned to you after your first appointment with the dietitian will allow her to identify where your dietary improvements need to be made and help guide you on how to start making those changes. The details specific to your eating habits will be discussed during these nutrition appointments. The idea is to make positive changes to your eating habits before surgery. This is because once back on regular food, which happens pretty quickly, only a month after surgery, people tend to go back to how they ate before surgery, which is why it's very important to make those changes beforehand. The other reason that improving your eating habits is very important is that as you proceed through the bariatric program, you must maintain a weight equal to or less than what you started the program at. Otherwise, insurance will not pay for the surgery, as they interpret that this indicates signs of noncompliance or expecting that the surgery will do all the work without changing any eating habits. My advice is to aim to lose 5 to 10 pounds total before surgery because it is a balanced and realistic goal, which does not require crash dieting or depriving yourself, but also, starting to be a little mindful about the extras that you may be eating and kind of shaving off stuff that you really, don't need. So also, please notify your bariatric nurse after each medical clearance appointment is completed. This way, we will all be on the same page and you will stay on track to get a surgery date as soon as possible. This basically means that you determine the speed at which you complete the bariatric program. Thank you for listening. We'll see you at the next nutrition appointment, which will be with Victoria if you are in the Community Medical Center branch, or with Sam if you're in the Monmouth Medical Center branch.